Hey everyone, this is Chris Smith from the OptionClub.com. If you guys wouldn't mind just typing something in the question window that lets me know that the audio is actually working and you guys can hear me. I think it's working. On the line I have Dan Sheridan. Dan, you there?
Yes. Hi, Chris. Hi, everybody.
Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a piece of software that's called OptionNET Explorer. And I've been playing with it for maybe about a month or so, and started getting really kind of excited about it the more I used it, and decided that I would share it with some of the people in my trading room, and they started giving me some real positive feedback. And so I got in touch with Dan because this software was developed as part of or within the Sheridan Options mentoring community. And the really interesting thing about it is it's the first piece of trading software I've come on that was never developed for the purpose of selling it. It was developed by I think he was one of your students, right, Dan?
He was, yes.
Yeah, and he developed it because he couldn't find a tool that's out there that did what he wanted to do, so he started developing it. And it's become a full-time endeavor for him, and so now they're going to, he's going to start releasing it outside of the community, and I think we're one of the first places where they're making it available. So we're going to walk through it, show you guys what it does. I'm going to kind of focus on a few things that I really like, and if you have questions, the question window is available to you, and I encourage you to use it, and we'll go from there. Sound good, Dan?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
So on your screen right now, you've got this is the software. We've got it on the screen, and it's pretty straightforward. Now, one of the nice things about it is if you go out and purchase or lease a piece of options analysis software from anyone other than your broker, you're probably going to pay a fair bit for data, and the reason is because data is expensive, and there's exchange fees and reg fees, and people want their money. So one of the kind of neat things is if you click over here in configuration, is it's going to take a live data feed from your broker, and we're all paying our exchange fees from our broker, either directly. You're going to get a bill for it, or it's factored into the cost of your commissions and other fees. And you got, what, 4 brokers here, Interactive Brokers, and Options House, Trade Monster, and Thinkorswim. And right now I have my Thinkorswim platform open, which allows OptionNet to grab that live data feed. So the data that we're seeing right now, this option chain, and the data here on the Russell 2000, that's all a live feed coming in from Thinkorswim that will give us the ability to monitor our trades in real time. So if
some of them, Chris, just a quick note, some, like we don't have it yet with Thinkorswim in terms of, if I enter a trade in the software here, I have to go, and I like a trade here. I go into Thinkorswim, or let's say you're a Thinkorswim customer. I put the trade on, let's call it a calendar, and if it's executed, then I can export it or import it over to back to the software, or I can just input it myself. But if I want to enter a trade like a calendar, I have to go to Thinkorswim and do it. I'm getting from Thinkorswim the live data feed, which is nice, but if I go to like Trade Monster, for example, I can enter a trade from here, push a trade button. It brings me to the page all populated in Trade Monster, and then I just hit the send button. We don't have that integration, or that more like a URL link is set up, but we don't have that set up with Thinkorswim yet, but you still get the live data feed. But Trade Monster, you actually can click a button and it'll populate the trade in the software, and then you don't have to repopulate it. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's not like we're trading 50 trades a day, right? So it doesn't take much to go repopulate the trade in, but some of the brokers, we already have a relationship that we can go immediately into their order execution page. We just don't have that in thinkorswim yet. But getting the live data feed is a nice, just a nice touch.
Well, I was excited just about the live data because I know what I pay for data on.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so
what is live data? What does that cost you just for live?
I don't know. I pay somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a year for the software that I was using, and the data was included in that. But then on top of that $2,000 or $3,000 that I was paying, then every month I got a bill for the exchange fees. So
wow, from the software vendor, huh?
Yeah, they passed on the exchange fees for the live data, and
wow.
so I mean I'm probably laying out about $3,000 a year for the software, and
wow. That's a lot.
And the primary reason I had it was for backtesting.
Sure.
So, the only other configuration up here, you select your live data feed, it's just drop down. You can ask it to include your commissions or not in the analysis. I like to include them.
Yeah.
And you can select or deselect quarterlies and weeklies. So, you can kind of configure the chain to have as much or as little data, as you reasonably would like. And then there's some, you can choose different colors and such.
Yeah.
The Auto Explorer, I talked to Andy, the programmer, about Auto Explorer. That should be pretty neat. It's not, I guess it's not functioning quite yet, but it's in development, and I think that's going to allow kind of like automated backtesting, from what I understand.
Right. I mean, it can do a little bit of automated now, where you press. I don't know if he showed you that, where you can, you can sit there with a cup of coffee and it can kind of go day by day for you, and you can stop it when you want. So it can do that now.
So what I did is I set up just a dummy, live demo account for today, and we're just going to work some trades. And if you guys have any specific questions, go ahead and put them in there. I saw Clifford was asking about the version. Up here in the right-hand corner, it says version 1.26.20. That is the current version. It's the only version I've ever worked with, so I don't know how that differs from its predecessors. But I do know Andy's, pounding away on another version, so I expect over time, that will get updated. So we've got the Russell up, and I think a lot of us like to trade the Russell. And so what I think we'll do is I was going to just do some weekly trades because they're nice and quick, and then we can kind of show off like what it does.
Hey, Chris, do me a favor. Could you make maybe I don't know how, but it might just be on my end, but maybe make the matrix area just a tinge bigger. You know how to do that? Oh yeah, you can. Yeah,
like that.
Right here. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if that looks better to others, but
we can make it even bigger still. So yeah, you just what is it? Drag it. We call that dragging, I guess.
Yeah.
So we just drag it to whatever size you want. In the window over here is going to be your risk profile. You actually have a very nice chart for if you trade off of the chart, and some of the better features, we'll see them once we have trades on.
Yes, good point. And you hit settings there. If you hit that settings, for people who are big in the technicals, you can kind of, set a few of the different parameters you'd like and kind of custom it a little bit.
Right. So we got a chart type candlestick, or the open, high, low, close bars. Bollinger Bands. You can have a parabolic SAR in there. You can choose to have volume or not. You can choose to highlight your expiration break even on the trade, which you can't see right now because we don't have a trade on. Moving averages, and then you have a whole bunch of technical indicators. So certainly all the obvious ones are there, and then when I looked at it the first time, I thought, okay, well it looks nice, but then when you get the trades on, then you start kind of getting excited about it. So we'll come back to that. Yeah. And maybe Dan, you can tell us a little bit where it says today's strategies up here.
That's more.
Kind of light up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's more of a little bit future development, not too far future, but that's not really anything right now. As far as, I mean, those are definitely strategies we do, but those aren't really operational at this point.
All right, and then I'll show you the monitor button once we have some trades on. And
monitor and position monitor are kind of neat features.
Yes.
So just that what's neat is that you have real, a lot of people have two monitors. Maybe one monitor if you're at home. A lot of people work out of the house and you're doing your work stuff. But on your second monitor, let's say you have 3 trades on, and Chris will show you in a second, but you can monitor so you can have live on your other monitor your 3 trades, not only seeing the live deltas and Greeks as they're changing, but you can see a live picture of each trade exactly, for those 3, which is a live, 3, 4, you can have, whatever many you want, 5 pictures. So that's a neat thing to have on, especially as you're emailing or whatever you're doing on one monitor. And I think that's a nice feature. But anyways.
So one of the things I promised to do today was to show everybody at least 2 features that will make you a better trader. And I don't say that lightly because it's easy for people to make claims, but what I'm telling you is I found 2 things in this software that I have no doubt is going to improve your trading if you choose to use them. And it doesn't take that much of an effort, and this is the easiest platform I've found to actually do it. And so Dan, if I were to tell you or ask you, if we took two guys and gave them the same rules and the same information about trading, and let one guy practice maybe 100 practice trades, and then the other guy just would go live right from the beginning, do you have any doubt about which guy's going to do better?
Well, it's no doubt. I mean the way I teach is if you think, I was just going over this today with somebody. If I'm going to teach somebody, okay, we're going to do a weekly calendar trade, a successful calendar, and I can give you the rules and guidelines. But you're right. You can go on and, okay, put on a live calendar today, and now you got to wait a day, and then another day, and it's a slower learning curve. Whereas you can go with this. It's so easy to use. It's so functional that you can go back and literally an hour and a half and back test an entire year of weekly calendars and get your arms around it, get it in your bloodstream, and really have a good idea of what these things are priced at, how they're moving, how the underlying moves, and so you're way ahead of the game. So in terms of, you're right, in terms of learning, the learning curve goes through the roof. And we're using the data that they use at the exchanges. So this isn't like 30-minute screenshots when we're going and back testing. This is the data. I mean, this is really, when you're going and back testing, you're not going to get any better data than this. It's good data. Get it right from the exchanges. So it's realistic back testing as you'll see. So you can literally trade a calendar, a weekly calendar that's 50 trades in an hour and a half, which if you do it live, it'll take you a year, right? So I 100% agree with Chris that it definitely make you a better trader as you do it. But there's one thing, there's responsibility. Chris is for creating independent traders, and so am I, and you got to do the stinking work, right, Chris? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if you're lazy and you want to eat potato chips and eat ho-hos or whatever they were when I was in high school and going to, you know, it isn't going to work. But I mean, you know, to me it's revolutionary in the fact that they have a back testing that is easy to use, and you're going day by day. By the time you do 30 of these, you get in your bloodstream because you're seeing. It's much better than an automated back testing because you're seeing day by day. You're seeing what the underlying is doing and you can go hour by hour. You can go 5 minutes to 5 minutes. So weeklies, when I back test it, if I really want to get good, accurate information, I'll go hour by hour because let's face it, when you're doing weeklies, hour's a big deal. If you're doing a 30 or 40-day trade, you don't need to go by the hour. So, and that's one of the best things is you can go hour by hour with weekly, so it's very accurate and realistic. And it's not like when you go from back testing in this software into live testing, it's not like you're going from, you know, in terms of beauty, you know, Wisconsin to Acapulco. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty seamless. Other than the one limitation with back testing is the execution, right? And that's just something, you know, you're not always going to get filled in the mid prices. But Andy's got some features here, and maybe as Chris is entering the live trade, you can even tweak it if you want to say, you know, realistic to me in weekly trades, especially in Russell, I might have to pay 10 cents over the mid for a calendar, maybe 15. So I can go in here and tweak this when I do my live trades that I want to pay 10 cents over the mid or 15 cents. So you can make it pretty stinking realistic.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off here to show the weekly cycles, and that's going to show us weekly options. And again, this is live data, right? So we can see up here it's cancel out live. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little calendar button, and I'm going to go back to 2013, and we'll go to January. So we'll go to the beginning of the year here. And we're going to go to Thursday because Thursdays, you know, when the weeklies begin trading typically, and so it's kind of the first opportunity to get in on them. So we've only got one trading day here, so we're going to work off this chain here, and I'm not going to spend any time on any in-depth analysis, but what we'll do is we'll just kind of put one on and work with it. So I was thinking maybe do like an iron butterfly perhaps, and you know, we can just put it right on it at the mid price, or you know, the at the money strike, which is the 870, and it's just highlighted in red there. So you know, if you put that on, let's just maybe do, say, wings 20 points wide. Sound about right?
Sure.
And then got to get the 870 down here. All right, so we've got our butterfly there, and then we can just kind of zoom in on it so that we can see it. And if we're happy with that, then we just kind of hit this commit trade button. And then what it does is it gives us a chance to kind of name things. We can identify it as a butterfly, and we can call it a you know, iron butterfly. You could come up with any naming convention you want. You might want to put the date on it, or the underline. Maybe you want to say iron butterfly in the rut. And then I think what you're talking about, Dan, is if you want to add a little bit of realism here, we could knock down the...
Well, yeah, because you're looking, mid-prices, if you look at the current cost, or where you have it down there, it's saying like $12.40 would be the mid-price. And so Chris just lowered it 10 cents, right, to $12.30.
Right.
And so you're throwing in a little realism, which is nice, $12.30, and then it defaults to like a profit target and max loss, some stuff I've come up with, but it defaults. But you can change that, like where Chris has profit target or max loss, whatever you want. But what's great about this little box is just, it's like a journal. You don't need another, you know, you can put comments in there. You can put, you know, it's got the underlying price for you. It's got the IV. You can put whatever profit target and max loss, but you can put some comments in there. So you don't need a separate journal or Excel spreadsheet. You got everything right here.
Right. So we've got a profit target here of 15%, max loss of 20%. You can put in whatever comments you want. It's just a text field. And once you hit save, all these, the contracts shift over to the position side. So you go from model to position, and you're in the trade. Now all of a sudden, we've got a horizontal green bar up here. That's my profit target, which is based on the percentage that I assigned, and my max loss line, which is based on the percentage that I assigned. And what's kind of interesting is that we now have all these little dots, and this is just a reflection of the price action for the day, which is January 3rd, 2013. So we can see where this trade, basically, where the P&L is throughout the day.
It gives you a range of where, if you're going in at this point to enter a live trade, it'll give you a little history of, was it trading at better prices than this or worse prices? So it's something nice. I like to turn that off once I've got the trade on. But it is, it's good information. I just like to keep it less busy in the graph area.
Right.
So I write, if you right-click in there and you click on overlay all intraday prices there, it'll turn that off. And then for me again, I right-click in there and I will click on show profit target max and loss.
Show profit target max and loss.
One up. See, that way it's less busy, because here's the nice thing. If you're a visual person, which I am, you can just look at, what's great is, if you look at that, you might show them that the solid blue line is the expiration graph, and the lighter blue line, maybe Chris could show that with the cursor, that's your T+0, how the graph looks like today, and the solid blue line expiration graph is how it looks in 8 days. But what I like is, if you're a visual guy, you can see exactly where you're going to hit the max loss, where it hits, where that T+0 line, which is the graph Chris is showing, where when that hits red, when that turns red, that shows you where the max loss is. So you can see on a day-by-day exactly what prices you're going to get kind of your max loss. So it's a beautiful visual that you're able to see that. And then, obviously you have your expiration break-evens, or those vertical dashed lines. So it's just a very, for those of you who are visual, it's nice. You can see where, so there's no surprises. I didn't know the max loss was coming. Sure you do, right? You're just thinking, look for the red line, right?
Yeah, and that was absolutely, it's simple, and I used to draw the lines myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, on my charts, on my own risk graphs. I'd do a screenshot, and then I'd use some software to draw a line where my max loss was, and this is much better, because not only does the software do it automatically, but it's constantly updating, and just simple, but again, I haven't seen this anywhere else. I happen to like those horizontal lines,
you mean for the max loss P&L?
Yeah,
put them in there. Some people, it's just, I'm so used to it. Yeah,
the reason I like it is that's exactly what I did. I would draw a line.
Oh, you did that. Okay, you did.
I would just draw lines on my chart, on my risk graph, to tell me where I needed to get out. If I hit the green line, I knew it was time to get out, take the profit. If I hit the red line, I knew it was time to get out and take the loss. It's just visual, and I knew if I was ever below that red line that I hadn't done my job, and shame on me.
Yeah, no, it's
all right.
Yeah, good stuff.
So here's the feature that the first thing I found in the software that I thought was just incredible was this playback button up here. And so you got this play button just like on a VCR player or a DVD player, and then you select your interval and you select your speed. All right, so the smallest interval is 5 minutes. Now now the smallest interval on the software that I was paying thousands of dollars for is half an hour, and and a half hour is fine when you're trading. I think like a monthly type trade or long-term trade. But when you start wanting to get practice on something like a weekly butterfly or a weekly calendar, or a short-term trade, 5 minutes is a lot better. So I'm just going to hit the play button, and so we don't even have to toggle this thing. We don't even have to start clicking on it. We just kind of watch as this trade, progresses,
unfolds, yeah.
And then you can make your decisions along the way.
And you're watching the P&L. You're watching how close you're getting to your profit target when you would have got out. But it's great. So, and it's perfect, Chris, if you want to, like me, if you want to eat while you're back testing, you can eat and kind of watch it, which is a good thing.
I think the first day I used this, I probably back tested about 30 or 40 weekly trades, and it probably took me maybe not even a couple hours. Maybe it goes fast, and
it does.
And the reason
really
is I'm going to stop it right now. We're already halfway through Friday, so we opened this trade on Thursday. We're already halfway through Friday, and
that's with 5-minute intervals.
And that's with 5-minute intervals.
We could have been 2 weeks past this, but yeah, you did 5 minutes.
Yeah, and if you're really impatient, you can always up the speed.
Yeah.
So we'll just hit the play button again, and we can kind of watch it unfold here. But so we'll wait till it gets down. We're almost down to the end of Friday now, and so all right. So we just ticked over to Monday. And
now the market's going back. As you look at, as of the end of the day, Friday, we were up over a standard deviation. Now the market's backing off. That's why you hit the profit.
Right. So we've got this is Friday's close, or as close to the close as we're going to get on the software. So I mean, realistically, this is Friday, and so the question I ask myself is, if this was a real trade, would I want to hold this risk over the weekend?
Since you hit your profit target.
Yeah, well, if I'm at 13% instead of 15%, is that extra 2% worth to me holding it over the weekend? And
no, you're up $1,000 on 7,700.
Right. So what I'm going to do, even though I know if I just let it run forward, it's going to make more money. What I'm going to do, if I was really trading this, I'd take my profit, because I don't want to risk the weekend and not know how the market's going to open on Monday. And if I had this trade open over the week, I'd probably spend all weekend my mind would be on this trade.
Sure.
So then we just hit commit the trade, and we can even adjust it. Say we have to pay like an extra dime to get out of it, and done.
Yeah.
So now we're on Friday the 4th. I'm just going to drop down here the next week.
Do it again.
And we'll do it again.
And the big thing, Chris, let me just say this real quick. The big thing is, yes, you can test strategies, you can test rules, you can do all that, and that's a vital role. But to me, a bigger role is going back, post-mortem and saying, Chris does 10 weekly trades, going back and see how did he follow the rules and guidelines? What did he do it? You look at the NBA or National Hockey League or National Football League, they look at game film all the time. So here's your own game film that, if somebody says, if you got 3 people in your group, Chris, that are doing the XYZ strategy with these set of rules, they can go back after 6 weeks of this and see, okay, here were the rules, but look at Johnny. Johnny went way off the deep end. What was Johnny's problem? Well, Johnny, every time it goes up and he was supposed to adjust, right, he looked at the Fibonacci's and said, I'm bearish, and he never adjusted or whatever. So you can see your tendencies as a trader. It's a really accurate system if you're inputting it correctly, that you can go back and analyze your trading and see, where didn't I follow my rules, and what are my tendencies? What do I seem to do to get me in trouble? And I think that's the, probably the biggest thing in my opinion. Some of the benefits, it can make you a better trader because it can show you where you keep jumping off the boat. So, well, go ahead, Chris. I know you wanted to get through a couple of these.
Yeah, the time bomb butterfly, Dan. That's an out of the money butterfly, right?
Right.
So when I was talking to Andy, he was telling me that these kind of light up when there's certain market conditions, and he didn't get into great detail, but I thought we'd do a time bomb butterfly, just slightly out of the money. I call them directional. Wait, I don't know what I'm doing there. Let's see, that was 890. I just call them out of the money butterflies, or directional butterflies.
Yeah.
And so all we're doing here is, why is that? What did I do that caused this?
Short 10 by 10 by 10 short.
Oh, I know why. I got to go to the beginning of the day. Oops.
Or you can just, you know what? You could just clear that model trades if you click on model. Oh, there it is. Okay. That should look.
Okay, so all we're doing is we're doing an out of the money or a directional butterfly here. Oh, I'm on the wrong series. So we'll just clear all model trades, and then we'll come over here to the.
Oh, you were on 1 day to go.
Yeah, just 1 day to go. It just didn't look right to me. This will look a lot better, I'm sure. And one of the things I like is when I click on this column, it highlights it, because sometimes maybe my eyes are getting old, but sometimes it's hard to tell which column I'm, which row I'm on when I start entering these things. So that's the trade right there. We're just going to go ahead and commit it. We'll give it a name. We'll call it a time bomb butterfly on the rut, and we can assign a category as a butterfly, and we can reduce our credit to. I saw a question out there: is there a way to adjust for slippage? And that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm adjusting for slippage by reducing my credit. I'm trying to simulate it by paying an extra dime or taking a less, one dime less than the mid price.
Well, this is better than having like slippage targets like low slippage or medium or high. To me, this is good because depending on the vehicle, what slippage is probably appropriate. Whereas if you're in SPY, slippage might be a penny or two. Whereas if you're in SPX or Russell, normal slippage could be 10 or 20 cents.
Yeah.
And so you have that capability.
And it'll depend, if you're trading at the money, or if you got options that are way out of the money or deep in the money. And if you trade something, like if you trade the rut, every week, after a while you're going to know pretty much what you're going to pay, how much you're going to have to move off the mark to get it.
Right.
So, okay, so I'm just hitting the play button again, and we're going to see how this trade goes. And so, the idea here is that you want, obviously, the rut to move higher. And what we'll do is stop real quick, and let's go over the price chart. One of the features here is that green dot, that indicates the bar on which you open the trade. And then a probability cone, I'm going to move over here a little bit.
Yeah.
But a probability cone is then generated off of where you opened it. Now, this is something I did manually on my stock charts, is that, in fact, I pay for an extra piece of software, a charting program, because it allowed me to set up a probability cone on any bar I wanted. And it allowed me to adjust, set the implied volatility as I wanted. And what this does visually for me is it allows me to gauge speed. Because it's like if I say 40 miles per hour, is that fast? You don't know, because if I say 40 miles per hour in a Ferrari on the Autobahn, it's not very fast. Yeah, but if I say 40 miles per hour for grandma in the wheelchair, that's really fast. And it's all relative. So if I say 5 points in one day, is that fast? I don't know. It depends on what you're trading. If it's 5 points on the rut, no, it's not that fast. It's within a standard deviation. But if I say 5 points on Microsoft, that's a big move in Microsoft.
Oh yeah.
And so by putting a standard deviation, that prob cone on there, just visually, if you move outside of that first cone, you know you're moving faster than average. You're faster than the average bear. And if you're trading something like a monthly iron condor or some trade of that nature, you're not going to remember, a week ago, where the market was and how much movement has occurred. But if you have this visual there, you can eyeball it in about a second, and whoa, we just moved outside of that prob cone, which means that the market's really got picked up and started moving. Maybe I want to put a hedge on, or maybe I want to do something. So
right, you could almost assess your adjustment points based on the probability cone. So again, another, for visual traders, it gives you in the gray area there is the 1 standard deviation, and then in the light blue area, it gives you 2 standard deviations, so you could see, when are you getting some huge moves. If it gets in that light blue, kind of, not ocean blue, but kind of like maybe a lake blue, if it gets in that area, you're 2 standard deviations.
Right.
So it can just give you a good perspective, like Chris said, how fast this is moving. And
yeah, I used to calculate by hand, and when I say used to, I'm talking like 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Calculate by hand the daily standard deviation.
Yeah.
So that I would know, how much of a price move was going to be fast in a day, and I would calculate a weekly standard deviation, so that I could kind of gauge the trend. Because one fast day is not that big a deal usually. It's when you get 2 and 3 days moving fast that you start taking notice.
Right.
And then I would use an extra piece of software that I paid money for and that I paid data fees for to monitor on the prob cone. So it's all done right there. So I just thought we'd take that moment to take a look at that. Let me readjust the chart here. All right, so we'll hit the play button one more time. All right, so we're outside of that expiration break even, but because it's a directional butterfly, and we're not below that max loss line, you you don't necessarily have to, panic here.
And again, if you want to go in a little faster, now this is a weekly trade, and I think if you really want to get under the hood of the car, 5-minute intervals is nice. Sometimes I put it, if I want to test multiple weeks quickly, I'll set the interval at an hour, just which is go quicker. But either way, it's nice that you don't. It just does it for you.
Yeah. Now you saw the dot shift from it was a red dot when it was down below the 0% line. Now it's a green dot telling us the trade just turned profitable. There's all these just like little
the other
things.
thing from learning, Chris, learning. But what's great is if you keep it slow enough. I mean, it's a phenomenal learning tool. You can look, as you're looking at the Greeks, all the position Greeks down there. You can, you're seeing how the Greeks change as the price changes, and from learning, you could just slow it, and you could see as the price goes, what does the vols do? It's just a lot of good information there. If you just apply the observation, right? You just look and, again, to be able to go through 2 or 3 or 4 days in a few minutes, it just ups the learning curve a lot.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're stopping a lot here to talk and point things out. So we're going a little bit slower than you normally would go. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on the timer because we're Friday, we're at noon, and I don't do a lot of weekly trades, but one of the things about the weeklies is you tend to have more gamma exposure than you do with like a monthly trade. So to me, holding it over the weekend, I mean, that's like asking the girl to marry you.
Well, right, and you look at your deltas, your 274 long deltas there. So, with only theta of 182, so that's, you better have Zorba the Greek conviction if you're going to stay long deltas going in over the weekend when you're not that far from the max loss.
Right.
Downside, because you can see that red line.
So, what I'm looking at here is, I'm basically at break even. I haven't made a whole lot. I haven't lost anything. It's Friday. We're heading the weekend, and I'm done.
Day in the trade.
I'm done. I don't think I would keep all those all that delta, knowing that on Monday, and what we'll do is I'm just going to go forward one day, and here it didn't make a big difference apparently, but
yeah,
when you hold it over the weekend, you might move up into this cone and make a big profit, but you could also take a big move to the left and open up well below your max loss, and so
you can like Chris, as you said, if you're on, go to Friday again at the end of the day, if you want to look how the deltas, your deltas are 274 there long at the end of the day. If you go to the upper right-hand corner on the graph area and you put it T+3, you can even take an ID and see, okay, on Monday's date, my 274 long deltas grows to 440. So if I was going to stay over the weekend, I need to cut my deltas minimum to 0 because those 274 deltas are going to grow, and so it's nice you got that. You can run it in the future, and you can also adjust the volatility up there. But yeah, nice features.
So what I did right here is that's a T+3 now, and then down here it shows us our deltas 3 days from January 11th. So yeah, what Dan's saying is if you want to keep that 200 delta profile, you have to anticipate what this is going to look like on Monday, and the software just with a click of a button tells you that. So I know if I wanted to keep that profile, I would have to add 200 negative deltas. I'd have to find 200 negative deltas someplace.
Yeah, you just picked up a bunch of deltas on Monday's date. Yeah.
So basically what I would do on Friday is flatten my delta, because I know on Monday it's going to be big. You know, it's going to be back to 200. Right? And you know, you can pick your way of doing it. Probably the easiest, if you have, you know, other thoughts, Dan, you know, by all means suggest them. You can take off, you know, some of the short puts here.
Yeah, that's the easiest. Yeah, it would be just take off X amount of your put credit spreads, and then you can cut the deltas.
So if I
down, you're kind of turn into a broken wing butterfly almost if you start clipping some of them.
So then what that does is, if we go back to T3, then if you move higher in the morning, let's say you go a standard deviation higher up, like standard deviation is what, about 5-6 points?
Yeah.
So we'd be well in the
probably more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's a weekend. So
yeah.
So if we do, let's say 10 points, we'll be well into that profit zone, above our profit target. And if we go what you need to do.
Right.
So, but we'll just close this one out so that we can move on to others. And yeah, the other thing I've learned is the more I adjust a trade, the worse it gets.
Sure.
And so yeah, I figure if I've adjusted something you know, more than twice, I'm probably not. It's probably not going to work out for me. So we can just jump ahead again to the next Thursday. And maybe this time we do, I don't know, we could do another butterfly, or maybe we could do a calendar spread.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And we'll just do an at the money calendar. All right, and so up here in the corner, it gives you kind of a profile of the IV. So you can very easily kind of get a sense of what the implied volatility, you know, what your term structure is going to look like. You got your risk curve there, just like with the butterfly. I'm just checking to make sure I have a T0 there, not a T3, and so we can go ahead and commit that trade. And you know what? I'm going to back the time up a little bit though. So we're in the morning, and we'll call this calendar on the rut, and select calendar, and we can add maybe an extra nickel or dime to it.
Sure.
I got to go the other way because we're buying it.
Yeah, you got to pay it, right? Pay more.
Oops. And then that should do it. All right, so we can adjust this. Let's say we want to go 15 minutes at a time, and now every tick is 15 minutes ahead. Oh, John's pointing out I paid less than the mid. Apparently I ticked it the wrong way.
I just caught that too. Yeah.
I'm cheating.
Yeah. Yeah, because you started out with like 2-3% profit and the cost.
I knew someone on the floor. They made me a deal.
That's right.
All right, so we saw like a pretty big bump there, and that, you know, the more you move that interval, the bigger the bumps are going to be, just because you're jumping ahead,
yeah,
you know, more time. All right, so, oop, I want to go back one tick. All right, so at this point, Dan, you've got, basically, I've started thinking about doing maybe some kind of adjustment here, and maybe making a double calendar, and so we could do something like a maybe like the 9/10. We could take a look at doing it like a 9/10 calendar.
Yeah. I get a little bit of sag because probably a little bit farther.
Right.
There's only 3 days to go. Probably have to do the 905 probably.
So then we can, if we don't like that one,
900.
Then we do the 900 and see what that looks like to us if we like it. I like that better. So we can, all right, so I'm going to make up for my cheating and make that an 80.
Yeah.
And then away we go.
And the nice thing, folks, just remember, if you ask me, just from a trading point of view, probably the two of the bigger elements of the software. But like Chris has just done some adjustments. But what the software does, unlike Thinkorswim or any broker out there, we have a lot of students that get it just for the record keeping because in the reports and. But if you do trades at Thinkorswim even, and they're the most robust software out there, it doesn't include your adjustments, your P&L, and everything real clean when you make adjustments. This does everything. So in terms of keeping your P&L down to the penny with commissions, with adjustments, it does it. Thinkorswim does not do it, and none of the other brokerage firms do either. So I think that's a big, what you say, Chris, that's a huge feature. And the other thing real quick is, while I remember it, you think of if you're trading live, how most people learn, they'll just do live trading, right? After they do maybe a little bit of paper trading, they'll do some live trading. And, to me here, I think you can save yourself, many times the cost of the software by, every time you're thinking of doing a live trade, you see some guidelines or rules you like, go back test it a year, right? And really get it in your bloodstream before you spend real money on it. And I think that's really, to me, the biggest feature, features that really help you save money. Anyways.
So I'm just closing this trade out because we made our money.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done 3 trades now, and so I think we've probably got enough that now we can jump over this report section.
Yeah.
And the report section. This is not. This is a lot more powerful than I originally realized, and I actually spent some time with the programmer Andy, who kind of walked me through it. And what I thought was originally not going to be a real robust tool, it really is. So what I've got here is I got a whole bunch of different trades here. And some of them are a little bit of losses. I've got some profits, and I'm sorting them all just based on underlying right now. So if I want to sort on something else, like maybe my accounts, I could
drag it.
I could just sort on the account. So now I can see which accounts are making money, which are not making money. If I want to sort it on, let's say, underlying, I can sort on the underlying, right? And now I can see which underlyings are making the money. Where am I most profitable? And so you can sort on any of these things that you want. Now the other thing we can do is click this analysis tab, and right here it's showing us our equity curve. But I mean, which is nice, especially if it's, moving from the left higher to the right. That's nice to see. But where you're going to really see differences in your trading is I'm going to sort this. I'm going to do a graph based on days to expiration. Now this is showing my realized profit and loss based on the number of days to expiration. So here's a like 1 day to expiration, 7, 10, 23, 45, and you can see just visually which trades are you making the most money on, which trades are you losing money on. So we did butterfly, we did calendar spread. So I could come over here and choose trade type, and because I identified the trades, now I can see which trades are most profitable.
Right, your
calendars,
butterfly trader, or your
condors, and if you do like three trades like we just did, this data is not going to be real insightful. But if you come back after a year of trading or 2 years of trading, and you start pulling this up, which I would say you should probably do this like every month, because you're going to start getting an idea of what should I be trading, right? And I could come back here, and let's say I want to exclude, or let's say all I want to do is look at my trades from the live demo today. So I've excluded all the other accounts that are there, and now it's just looking at my trades from today. Now we only have 3 trades here, but let's say we traded 100 trades over the last year, and you start seeing pictures like this, and you start thinking, well, gee, calendar seemed to be kind of a good way to go. And when you start having, if you're trading a lot of different positions, different underlyings, you can very quickly zero in on where are your losses coming from, and where are your profits coming from, and then you can start drilling down from there and asking the tough questions of what's going on with the calendar spreads that make them so profitable. What's going on with the other trades that are losing money, and you can start figuring out where are you strong, where are you weak. If there's a particular trade that's just kind of like an aberration, maybe you can kind of compensate for that. But I haven't seen a reporting tool like this anywhere. And when it comes to trying to figure out what's really working for me and what's not working for me, I mean, this is like CIA level intelligence for your trading.
Yeah, you can really dial down, and you can make some great tweaks where you're never going to be able to look at this insightful into it on your own, right?
No, I keep all this data for me. I keep it all in a spreadsheet, and I don't have the technical skill or really the patience to do enough programming in Excel to figure this out. And I spent maybe 20 minutes with Andy, and he started showing me just you drag and drop these things, and how you can come over the analysis tab and take a look at these things, and start drilling down in terms of which trades are working the best, and which trades are causing you the most pain. And you know, if I just look at this, you know, and you see this, you know, significant profit in your butterfly trading, and you got to start thinking, you know, I think maybe I should keep trading some butterflies, right?
Right.
And maybe the calendar spreads are not the best use of my time. And I'm sure we can drill down with even more granularity and get even more insight and data out of it. And you know, it's just, my technical skills at this point are going to be my limitation on this report module. So so I think what we'll do, Dan, is there anything else you want to cover on the software before we tell them about
I think, you know, for today that's a lot. You know, you covered the reports, the back testing. I think we mentioned a lot of the key things, and I think I think that's good.
All right, so basically here's the deal, as they say. We're getting full use of the OptionNET software. There's no limitation being applied to the software. So everything that you saw today and any other features that the software has are going to be available to you. It includes the historical market data for all optionable U.S. equities and indexes in 5-minute intervals. And as Dan was saying, this is the actual exchange data. It's as clean and as accurate as anybody's going to have.
Right.
You're going to have your live data from one of the 4 supported brokers. It says delayed here. It all depends on, you know, what you got from your broker. If your broker's giving you delayed data, that's what's going to come through on the software.
Right.
But I think anyone, you know, trading with Thinkorswim or Trade Monster, you know, you're probably getting live data.
Right.
But so you got the broker feed. There's no extra charge for that. Free access to Options Education Series. Basically, I think, Danny, you do a training every 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah, what I do is every 2 weeks on Wednesdays at I think 10 o'clock Central Time, and it's recorded. I pick a topic, so it's not just I'm using the software, but it's more options education is what it is. I take a topic, you know, it could be the Greeks, it could be cheap calendar trades, or whatever the topic I think is appropriate, and then we'll talk about it for an hour. You know, you can ask unlimited questions, but those run every other week, you know, for the cost of the software, if you buy the software. So you get 25 of those sessions a year, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. And I'm on the software the whole time, so I'm not on a PowerPoint, I'm on the software, so you get more used to the software, but we're using it to talk options, so I think it's a helpful.
All right, someone just told me that the link wasn't working, so I'm going to check the link right now. And I just copied and pasted the link, and the page came right up. So just what I would suggest is check your the typing. I think you didn't put the www in. Maybe that matters. And but anyways, the link is accurate and it is working. So in addition to the education, there's unlimited support. So if you have questions about how to use the reporting or other features, you have that available to you. The one thing I would suggest for everybody on the presentation is take advantage of the 30-day trial. And it's going to be 50% off. Normally, here's one of the things that we have to kind of maybe talk about a little bit. The pricing is in British pounds.
Right, PayPal, yeah, where you go to PayPal, he's got it in pounds because he's in London. Yeah.
Exactly. So the guy who programmed this, he's in London, and so all the pricing is in pounds. How that converts to dollars is going to depend upon the exchange rate that PayPal uses at the time you purchase. All right, so you're going to, normally it's the cost of the 30-day trial is 50 pounds. And that covers you on all the training and the historical database and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get a 50% discount, so you're going to pay 25 pounds. And I don't know what the exchange rate is right now, but
it's going to be generally around. I think if you get a 50% discount, it should be. I'm guessing just watching this over a good period of time, 30 to 35 bucks.
Right.
Would be the cost of the trial for 30 days, and that'll give you a good chance, for $35 with support, and even during that 30-day trial, you would get a couple webinars with me on the education side. I think for $30, $35, it give you a good feel of the software, and I think you'd be able to make a good decision if you think it would, which I would imagine you'd see that it'd be a good help to you if you trade options. But even if you don't trade a lot, I mean, I think some of the things Chris pointed out, people go and buy, they'll buy books and get, newsletters and a lot of stuff. With this back testing, I think it's a good investment in terms of learning. I've done a lot. I mean, I was in the pit 20 years before we didn't have back testing tools in the pit for 20 years, and I learned a lot off back testing softwares. We learned by School of Hard Knocks by doing it, and so with the back testing software, very beneficial from the educational end.
So what I'll tell you is take advantage of the 30-day trial. If nothing else, take the next 30 days and use that back tester. And I think it's going to make a world of difference, even if you just use it for 30 days. But I also think that at the end of 30 days, you're going to want to keep the software. And so what we're entitled to is a 10% discount on the subscription after the trial. And so the way the subscription works is, I think you get your choice between a 12-month subscription for you, so for a whole year, or you can just do it 3 months at a time.
Yeah, I mean, the 12-month will be probably the best value, and that's going to be in the vicinity of $700 a year, and that's with live data, update, support. There's no add-ons. $700 a year, and that's that's with the education, that's with the support, the whole 9 yards, and the live data in that area.
Yeah. So basically, the 1 year subscription is a 500 pounds, and we get 10% off that, so it's $450 for a year.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm just telling you that compared to what I was paying, it's a deal. And if you prefer, you can go to 3 months. So that's normally 150 pounds for 3 months, and we would pay 135. All right. The 30-day trial, that's normally 50 pounds, but we're getting it for half off, so you're going to pay 25 pounds.
And if you multiply it times 1.6 or something for the pound, that's what you'll get, about $700 for the year, somewhere around there, or what do we say, 30, 35 bucks? Would you say 25 pounds for the trial? So 25 times whatever that is, 1.5, 1.6.
Yeah. So let's see. Someone had shared a rate calculator, and I'm trying to see if I can copy that. It doesn't look like. Oh wait. I think maybe I can copy this. All right, so 25 pounds is $42 US based on current exchange rates. And so we pay 450 pounds, then I guess that would be 756 US dollars for a year.
Okay, so 756. Okay.
All right, and just to give you kind of a comparison here, I don't remember exactly what I'm paying, but let's say 756 divided by $2,500. It's like 30% of the cost. And I'm telling you guys, this little feature up here, this little playback button, it is worlds ahead of what I've been working with for the last decade or so. Oh, we forgot one thing. I want to show them this monitor dock.
Grid in the yeah.
Oh, we don't have an open position. Let me fix that. Let me go to here, go to settings, show in the position monitor. So I'm just clicking show in the position monitor, and if I open the monitor dock, then any open positions you have in accounts that you're tracking, they will show up just in this dock. And that way you can just kind of have this on top of your screen. Keep an eye on
live
it.
Pictures. Yeah, live.
And then if you see something, you say, you know what, I want to check in on this XLE trade here. It'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you decide, you know what about the SPY trade? You click on that, pulls it up.
Well, Chris, hit the monitor. Did you do the monitor one? You can see your running Greeks.
Yep. And then you got the grid.
Or the grid, yeah.
Yep. And then this one highlights your got standard deviation, your profit and loss,
up and down.
1 day standard deviation, up and down. All right. I calculated these things by hand, and I didn't do it up and down. I just calculated a standard deviation off of the price, and that was just kind of like quick and dirty, get a sense for how much speed I should be able to tolerate. And it's all being done for you. I mean, it's like when you talk to your grandfather and he tells you how easy you have it, right?
Yeah.
And
it spoils you a bit.
Yeah, it's just all done right there. All right, so in the chat window and in the question window, I think I cut and pasted or copy and pasted the link to the order page. And I'm going to send out an email with that link as well. Like I said, it's working because it just worked for me. And so if it's not pulling up for some reason, maybe it's a typo or something like that. But anyways, I'm going to send the link to you in an email. I'm going to get out of that. I'm going to get out of that. So I'm going to run down some questions here real quick. I think we hit upon most of them along the way. And I'm going to see if there's anything else that we did not talk about. A couple comments about the speed and the smoothness of that historical, the play button. And for any of you guys who have used other software to do this, you know how big a deal that is. And then Clifford's asking about the strategy buttons that light up. So let me go pull up the software. What I understand from Andy is that I guess, Dan, in your community, you have a kind of guidelines about when to do like a low prob condor, when to do a high prob.
Yeah.
Basically what market conditions are well suited for these strategies. And so then what Andy did is he took those criteria, he took those conditions, programmed it into the software, and then these buttons are supposed to light up based on what strategies are meeting those criteria. So right now we have a broken wing butterfly and a time bomb butterfly highlighted. So what the software is telling you is that based on the criteria that Dan uses in his community on the spider, you should be probably looking at a time bomb butterfly or a broken wing butterfly.
Yeah, I'd have to check with Andy because I don't. I'd have to just see before I would see if those are fully operational. I don't think they are. I'd have to see. I'd have to talk to Andy on those. But yeah, very good potential on those. That's what he intended to do. But I'm not sure if that's all hooked up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about a time bomb butterfly. We're in a very low volatility environment right now. VIX is at 11, and time butterflies are short vega. So, the only reason the time bomb would pop up is if I'm not sure what the criteria there. I'd have to check with Andy. But you hit it right on the head, Chris. That's the intention, is to look at some of the guidelines and give some direction as to when some of these would be more applicable.
I got some like mean tweets directed my way here. People are not happy with me.
Why would you do them?
Apparently my presentation skills are lacking.
Oh.
But
you got a tough crowd.
Every now and then you get someone who just they don't like you.
Yeah.
And
I've never had that before, Chris. Everybody just loves me dearly, and it's just I'm joking. Yeah, in a big enough world, when you go and do public webinars, yeah, it gives
yeah. Okay, Carl was asking whether the winners, losers are by strategy or by leg, and I think what he's referring to is the reports page, the winners and the losers, and I think this is a reflection of the totality of the trades being displayed here. In other words, just taking into consideration all of the trades that you did here, and it's telling you had 18 right. winners and 9 losers.
And breaking it down into all the...
Yeah, and I guess what he's asking, is that 18 legs or 18 trades?
18 trades.
Yeah. So 18, so basically I'm batting 500. For every 2 for every 2 I put on, well, every 3 I put on, I guess I win 2 and lose 1.
Yes, something like, yeah, you're 67% winners.
And then I think we covered everything else. We have a lot of questions up here, though. Here's another one of those mean tweets. Have you seen? Is it Jimmy Kimmel? I think does. He has celebrities read their mean tweets. The tweets that people have directed at them. He gets them to read them. It's pretty funny stuff.
Oh, I believe. Yeah.
All right. Well, and here's a nice one. I got one that says terrific presentation.
Oh, good. Huh.
So I think that person is more intelligent than the other person. I don't really know that, but that's my impression.
Sure.
Okay, so I think we covered all the questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to send them either to me or Dan. We're always happy to provide the information. I'm going to send out a couple emails after this. One is going to come out right away with the link to that order page. So if you had any problems getting to the order page, try that link. Hopefully it works. If you have any problems, if that still doesn't work for you, let me know, and I'll help you out. I encourage you to get that 30-day trial. Give this software. I mean, I would just set aside, maybe an afternoon, like on a Saturday or something, and just go at it and try as many things as you can, because I'm telling you, I think you're going to fall in love with this software. And then what I'll do is get a video, assuming that the video processes properly, and every now and then we have a technical problem, but I'm going to get the video up, and I'll send out a link to the video. So if you want to watch it again, if you want your friends to watch it, if you want your enemies to watch it, depending on what you think of it, the presentation, send them a link and let them take a look. And I think this deal will be available for a little while. So even if you are not here live, if you're watching the video right now, you can still use that link and take advantage of the special offer. Dan, is there anything else that you think we need to say?
No, I think that's good. Chris did a great job, and hope everybody enjoys the software. And as Chris said, if you have any questions, let us know.
All right. Dan, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. We'll see everybody. Thanks.
All right. Bye.